Thank you, BetterHelp, for sponsoring today's video.
Yes, that's right. Well, this is it. This is it. Over 170 different videos related to the World Cruise. This is the last of our daily update videos.
Oh, sad.
It is, it is. Well, we actually recorded an intro for this video back at 5 o'clock in the morning. On the morning we got off the ship for our very last day. And in fact, a little fun fact here, it took us over 10 takes for what you're about to see here because it was so emotional that morning. So let's show you that intro and we'll see you on the other side. Well, that's it, folks. We've spent the last 9 months traveling around the world together, and today we're back in Miami where we started, and we're going to show you our final day.
Welcome to Living Phase 2.
Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Nancy, and we're empty nesters striving to live life to the fullest.
And we have been living that full life for 9 solid months, traveling all the way around the world on the ultimate world cruise.
We have. Well, this is kind of a sad video for us to make, just because this is the last main video that we will have of our big adventure. We do have some fun things planned, though, for 2025, so be sure to stay to the end and we'll go through kind of our list of exciting plans that we have.
Yeah, we've actually had quite a few of you comment, what am I going to do when our Living Phase 2 videos are done? Well, we want you to right away start off this video and understand the adventure is not over. And yeah, stay till the end. We've got some amazing things coming up this year that we think we're going to love. And we look forward to having all of you come along with us. And in fact, we usually aren't too big on the, what do they call it, call to action, where we ask you to do things and all that. The one thing we would like to start this video with, though, is just very quickly ask you, if you have not, although I think most of you have, if you have not, take 1 second here, reach up and hit the subscribe button on this video, and it just lets YouTube know that you've been enjoying our videos, that you're part of our Phase 2 flock, and that way our videos continue to get pushed out there once we're done with the World Cruise, because as Nancy said, we've got a ton coming out, and we would really appreciate that help. Just that 2 seconds to hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything, it doesn't spam you, it just lets YouTube know that you've been enjoying these videos.
Thank you, friends. We do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, now it is time to pack, and we are packing here between the days of Bermuda and Coco Cay. So we're starting here at September the 8th, and Royal Caribbean had stored some of our luggage in kind of a holding area. They asked us what day we would like our luggage brought back to us, and we had told them September the 8th. So we received our suitcases back at that time, and it was now time for us to begin. Mm-hmm. One nice advantage that we had was our room had a Pullman bed that came down, so it actually had kind of a bunk bed. So technically another person could have slept in our room, and that made a great storage area. That kind of made a nice holding area for the suitcases. It helped us to get things organized. But really, we'd kind of been planning for a few weeks what items we were not going to take back with us. I mean, some things we had just kind of worn out, that we were done with. I know
a couple pairs of tennis shoes each.
Yeah, they weren't coming back. Our underwear had been through the laundry so many times, through that rough laundry, that a lot of that wasn't coming back. So there were a few things we weren't going to bring.
Well, and there were a lot of things we donated.
Royal Caribbean had a really nice area staged in their conference room with huge donation boxes for they were giving it to people in Haiti, and so passengers were able to gather things up that were usable, that weren't worn, like our old tennis shoes and that kind of thing, and then we would take them down to the donation boxes. There was also a table set up for crew members, so they were able to take things like the storage items that we weren't going to bring back with us, some of those big bulky items that helped us to organize our room, but we really didn't need any longer back at home. So we're happy to donate those kinds of things to the crew.
Yeah, we actually kind of always planned it that way, that we would take a lot of those things, like remember those brown boxes you'd see behind us in all the original videos before we got home,
that held our Christmas ornaments.
yeah, and different souvenirs and things like that. We always intended to leave those behind, and they weren't all that expensive when we got them initially. Same thing with a few other items. We actually gave our stateroom attendant first dibs. So we had her come in and we showed her around and we said, okay, if there's any of this stuff you want, just take what you want. What you don't, we'll take down to the donation area. Or, so it was really nice that she got to come in and kind of get a lot of things. And then what she told us is that she took a lot of things down to the crew area, and then was like, they had a table set up kind of back in the behind the scenes, that it was like, okay, my cabin gave me this, oh, my cabin gave me that. And so they could swap and give things to each other as well. So it was really
nice.
quite a way to end the cruise, that we could then donate and give things to the crew, to people in Haiti, to, that a lot of it could be donated out. And then that left room in our suitcases for all the wine, or, all the liquor,
all those ornaments,
all those Christmas ornaments, t-shirts, hats.
all my earrings.
Yep. So that then freed up room in the suitcases that we could then put that away.
Now, at this point, the CEO of Royal Caribbean, Michael Bailey, he had come on board in Bermuda, and he was there for all the festivities and all the events wrapping the full world cruise up. And they had really planned some nice things for us full world cruisers. They had various town hall events, and we had a special event in the theater of everybody got to share a special memory. They asked us to email them with a special memory and a photograph, and then they showed them all up on the big theater screen. And so that was a really cool event. And while we were on this cruise, 2 people had actually written books, and one had written a song about the World Cruise.
Yeah, well, they wrote the lyrics, but they weren't a singer, so they actually went online and had an AI voice sing the song.
So that was very special to see everyone's special day.
There was a lot of tears at that event.
There were. Well, at this event, also, Michael Bailey gets up on stage and he lets everyone know the big announcement is that they're going to have a reunion cruise. Now, fortunate for us,
big surprise.
our group of 10 of us that have been so close with one another this entire time, we had said months ago, we've got to plan something where we all get back together a year from now. And a year from now is when Serenade of the Seas is going to be in Alaska. Well, surprise, the reunion cruise is in Alaska. So we all
on Serenade of the Seas.
On Serenade. So we all had our rooms booked and we have everything lined up. And I don't have exact numbers, but I'm going to guess somewhere between a third to a half, maybe even more, people who are on the full world cruise will actually be on the reunion cruise. So that's going to be very special. And that actually helped to make our goodbyes a little bit easier, knowing that we'll see them again.
Yeah, it's always nice when you're saying goodbye to someone. It's more of a, as they say, farewell.
See you later.
Yeah, see you later. Because we could say that, oh, see you later. And we had so much confidence that we knew we were going to see these friends of ours that it did make it easier. I mean, it wasn't easy, but it made it easier to say goodbye after living with people for 9 months. And having that stake in the ground in September of 2025 sure makes it a lot easier. So stick to the end. We're going to tell you a little bit more about that adventure that you'll see upcoming here as we go to Alaska and more. So after the big town hall where we all got together, we went back, we finished up our packing in our rooms, got everything really organized and settled and put into place. The next big event they had was a big party at night in the Centrum. So they had a balloon drop and music, and I think we were up to 1, 2 in the morning just dancing and enjoying our time, and nobody really wanted to say goodbye, and that was... that was a lot of fun. It really was, seeing, not just our friends, but the crew. And one of the things about that makes it a little more difficult, like we said, we have a stake in the ground. We know we're going to see our 10 best friends in the world coming up in September of 2025, but we made really good friends and just almost to the level of family with some of the crew members, and that were on the full world cruise with us. And that's hard because we don't exactly know when we're going to see them again. So that made it a little more difficult. A lot of hugs and a lot of tears there as we were saying goodbye to the crew of the Ultimate World Cruise.
Well, saying goodbye and the tears and these people that have just become family that we're now leaving. It's this is a big life event. This is a lot of change. And so this really brings us to today's sponsor, BetterHelp.
Yeah, so BetterHelp actually reached out to us. They saw our channel about being empty nesters, all the changes you go through in life, and they thought that our channel would be a good fit for their particular product, which is online therapy. And neither one of us have ever used therapy. We thought, okay, but we never recommend a product that we haven't used. So I went ahead and signed up for BetterHelp and thought, okay, well, let's see what this is like. I want to experience this and see if this is a product that might be able to help some of you, our Phase 2 flock. Well, I got online, I signed up for it, which was super easy. You answer a very detailed questionnaire that takes maybe 5-10 minutes to go through that talks about, well, why would you be wanting to talk to a therapist? You know, what's your background? You know, do you want a faith-based therapy? Do you want something that's, you know, more agnostic? Do you want, you know, what do you want in a therapist?
Male or a female?
Male or female, all those things. You answer all of that, and then within a couple days, they come back and they have a recommended therapist that you can review all their credentials and decide if that's somebody that you want. If it is, you then reach out to them and say, well, let's get together. I did that. The therapist responded right away to me. He said, oh, do you want to do it via chat? Do you want to have a phone call? Do you want to do video conference? I picked a video conference and we sat down and talked for about an hour. And it was a really good experience, I have to say.
That's what you told me when you got off the phone or when you got off your video chat. You said that was really helpful.
Yeah.
So that was very nice to hear.
Yeah, so I really do think this is a product that if you're going through major life events, like your kids leaving for school and you're suddenly an empty nester, you're finishing a career in retirement, if you're having major life changes, this is an easy way to just have somebody to talk to. You know, you don't have to try to find them all on your own and worry about if it's good or not, because you can change your therapist anytime you want.
So friends, if you'd like to give BetterHelp a try, go to betterhelp.com/livingphase2 and you'll get 10% off your first month of therapy. Well, now it's the last night here on the cruise. We're all eating in the main dining room. Michael Bailey happens to pop by. He stops by our table and we got a picture with him there.
I think it's because of all the trouble we caused on the world cruise.
I don't think so. I don't think we were any trouble at all.
Yeah.
But in the Windjammer, they had that set up really nicely. They had ice sculptures up there. They had a huge cake. So we did have to stop up there and take a peek at everything. But we were just kind of relaxing this last night and just
had a drink
kind of
with
taking
friends
it all in.
and
Yeah.
said our goodbyes, gave our hugs, and we all kind of actually made it a fairly early evening and just went back to the room because in the end we have to get up at before 5 o'clock in the morning because we're heading into Miami and we have an early flight to get back to our family.
Right. And the last thing we did before going to bed was we put all 9 bags out in the hallway. It was kind of a mess.
Yeah, well, this was nice. It was a little, people have asked us this. This was a little different than a normal cruise where, you know, you have to have your bag out by 10 o'clock. They let us start actually putting our bags out at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And they were all day, we're cycling through and they were pulling bags out of the hallway.
Which was good for safety issues.
Yeah.
That was
if every
good.
cabin has 6 to 9 bags, there was no way they were all going to fit in the hallway. You can see how crowded the hallway was.
We got up bright and early the next morning, had our breakfast, and then we're heading out off the gangway, off the ship. And it's chaos. It is chaos in the Miami port here. There's so much luggage and people, and it's just elbow to elbow. We're trying to find carts to put all of our luggage on, but we managed, and I think everybody managed at some point in time, but it was chaos.
Yeah, some of our friends, they got off later. They had later flights, and they actually, even a few hours after we got off, still had issues getting their luggage. I think part of the problem we heard later was that, you know how you get staged to get off the ship? You know, you have a 7 a.m., a 7:15, 7:30. They call different groups. There were people getting off before their groups, and they're all running down there, and they're like, where's our luggage? And then they look them up and say, wait, you're not scheduled to be off for another hour. Your luggage isn't here yet. And then, you know, so there was a lot of that going on too. As Nancy said, just a just kind of a level of chaos.
Right.
But we did get our luggage. We got a good porter. He was very patient with 9 bags of luggage, and even more patient because once we got out of the luggage area.
Well, once we got out of the luggage area, there was a band playing, there were balloons, there was just all kind of farewells, just almost a gala of events of farewells here. And one of the first things we did was we sent 3 of our bags through Luggage Forward. So Royal Caribbean had contacted through Luggage Forward. They were there waiting for us, and we were able to offload 3 of our bags. So now we're down to 6 bags. We also had scheduled 2 publicity events. One was through Good Morning America, and another was through the local Miami TV station. So we did those interviews, and then it was time to get an Uber and get ourselves to the airport and make our way home.
Yep. So we made it to the airport with no problem. We got all 6 bags taken up to the counter there, and yes, we actually splurged and we flew an upgraded ticket, and so we were able to check 3 bags because we added it all up and figure out getting the first class ticket domestically was actually cheaper than paying for all the extra baggage fees. So we kind of balanced that out. So that's not a bad thing to look at if you have overweight and extra baggage. Well, we took off from Miami, and it was actually kind of fun. There was a lot of world cruisers on this, and the Delta Airlines actually kind of noticed, and the captain came on and gave a little congratulatory announcement with us, although he got the cruise line wrong, like you can hear here.
The north to Atlanta. Got some pretty amazing people up here that apparently are on a return from a Carnival cruise that went... That went all the way around the world, 60 countries. That's an amazing trip. I'm glad we can be a part of it.
So you could hear us all correcting him that of which cruise line we were on.
Carnival.
No, it was for 9 months. We knew which cruise line we were on. But we took off, landed in Atlanta with no problems, and guess what? We get the final hot dog challenge of the Ultimate World Cruise. So we stopped in Atlanta and we had to try a Varsity hot dog. So for those of you who aren't familiar, I used to do a lot of business here in Atlanta. Varsity is a very famous drive-in type hot dog establishment here in Atlanta. If you ever get a chance to go to the Varsity, go to the original one. They have the satellite one here at the airport. They don't serve everything the normal Varsity does, but go to the one that's actually in downtown Atlanta. You won't miss it. But so I gave the Varsity Airport hot dog a try, and it's a classic chili dog of the Varsity style. I wouldn't put it at the top of the World Cruise hot dogs we had. We had some, boy, that one we had in Iceland, the Iceland dog and all those. Those were really amazing. But it wasn't a bad hot dog, and it was a good way to end the hot dog challenge here on the Ultimate World Cruise. Now, that said, this has been such a popular segment, and you're all always asking about it. We actually now are going to continue that as we go on our adventures, and we're going to find all the best hot dogs as we go on our adventures around the U.S. and the world.
And we'll put together a compilation either as a YouTube short or as a full video of all your hot dog challenges.
Yes, that's right.
Well, now it's time for our final flight to Grand Rapids, and so everything went through without a hitch. We got to Grand Rapids. We gathered all of our luggage.
Took 2 carts to roll it out, and
but to roll it out, we didn't have a car to roll it out to.
We did not.
We had sold both of our vehicles, friends, before we went on this trip. So while we were on the cruise, I did actually pick out a car, and we purchased it while we were on the cruise. So it's waiting for us tomorrow morning. We'll be able to go and get it then. But we had to get a rental car for tonight, and the first place that we went to was to our daughters, so we could see those grandbabies, and I could squeeze them and hug them and kiss them and love them.
So we pulled up, and they were right there at the window waiting, and Meemaw ran up to them and looked through the window, and we got to spend some time with our daughter and her husband and our three grandkids.
Well, after spending some time at our daughter's home, then we came back to our house, and oh my goodness, the weeds were tall. Now, we did have a house sitter, but that was one thing we had talked to her about ahead of time, was that she did not have to do yard work. And we had the lawn mowed, but there was nothing done with the weeds in the garden or the rock area around the house. So They were a mess. We had piles and piles of mail as well that we had to go through. So it was a little daunting at first.
Yeah, it was. And in fact, we did a bit of a detailed video on this. We called it a 1-month cruise update. So if you go back and search our videos for Hornet's Nest, you'll be sure to see all the things that as we went into detail. Well, one really special thing, when we turned and the headlights hit the driveway and the garage door, our daughter had actually used her Cricut and made this huge banner with all the names of the family on it and said, "Welcome home." That was really nice.
That was really special.
So, yeah, so now we're home and we're getting settled in, and it's a little surreal. You know, we've spent 9 months at sea. We've seen some unbelievable sights. We've met incredible people. We've had adventures that more than we ever imagined that we could. That and we feel so blessed to have had this adventure. But we can't really thank everyone enough for following along, being part of this journey for us. This was really motivating for us to continue to put out these daily vlogs so that we have them in perpetuity for our family to share, so our grandchildren and great-grandchildren and all those can see it. I mean, like our kids, grandkids would be like, Nima and Bebop on the ship. Well, they can go back now and they can actually look and see when we were on the ship and what we did as we traveled around the world, meeting all these amazing people, seeing all these wonderful things. Well, speaking of wonderful things and amazing people, the adventure continues. Yes.
We have some fun things lined up here for 2025. So the first thing, friends, you've heard us talk about, we are going to Egypt. We're going to Egypt, to Jordan, and Petra here very soon. So look forward for those videos coming out. We missed that going on the world cruise because they rerouted us around Africa. So we're going to hit that right away and catch that area that we missed.
And we're going to take you all along with us.
We sure are. Well, then following that, we are going to be... We've got an RV now, and so we are going to do a different form of cruising. We're going to cruise across the United States, and so we're going to do some RV cruising here in February, and we'll be going down to Texas as we have a new grandbaby on the way. So we'll be down there for that.
Yeah, and in addition to that, while we're cruising across here in February and March, we're going to be having a reunion with some of our World Cruise friends and family, so you'll see that as well.
Well, coming up in May, we've got another big trip. We're going to go to Tokyo. We're going to spend about a week in Japan, and then we're going to take a repositioning cruise on Royal Caribbean from Japan to Los Angeles.
Yeah, and so we just couldn't wait till September to have a reunion with our World Cruise family. So we're all going to meet together in Tokyo and just have a wonderful time. And I can't wait because we are actually going to go to Tokyo Disneyland and Tokyo Disney Sea. We're going to stay on the property, and we're going to take you along with us to see what it's like for a couple empty nesters to do Tokyo Disney.
Well, after that, friends, we're going to be going to Kentucky, down to Bardstown, to the Bourbon Trail. Mike is now an executive bourbon steward, and so he's going to show us all of his favorite bourbon distilleries and bourbon locations. And we'll be taking the RV and taking our son and daughter-in-law on that trip. Also, during the summer, we'll be using our RV to go around as we are professional competition barbecue judges. So we will be going around to places judging barbecue.
And sharing those locations, the cities, the back roads of America with you as we go do that.
Well, it is now time for the reunion cruise. So we are going to first take the Amtrak to get over there. We're going to take the Amtrak from Chicago to Seattle and then up to Vancouver. So that will be quite an adventure. I've taken the Amtrak on short trips before, but never anything like a 3 to 4 day Amtrak trip.
And you think our room on the World Cruise was small. Wait till you see our roomette on an Amtrak train for 4 days going to our cruise.
And so we'll get to Vancouver. We've got a week in Alaska. The Alaskan cruise ends back in Vancouver. We'll go Vancouver to San Diego, and then another cruise, San Diego through the Panama Canal and to Miami.
Right. And those are just the highlights that we have on the books right now. There's going to be many, many more adventures. Many of you are used to us putting out 3 videos a week. We've had to do that just to keep up with the World Cruise. We'll probably go to about 1 video a week now or so, and they'll be a little bit longer and a little bit more in depth here in 2025.
And I think we plan to do more of the YouTube shorts as well,
Yes.
to incorporate some of those into this channel. So look for those as well.
Yeah, and a lot more live streams. So you can interact directly with us, ask us questions, and be part of our adventures as we're having them. So we are looking forward to all this in 2025 and beyond for our Phase 2 flock. And again, we just can't thank you enough for following along with us here on our adventure and on our channel. And we are going to do that call to action one more time. If you haven't yet, reach down, hit that subscribe button so that you can come along with us in 2025 on all these empty nest full life adventures.
We appreciate you, friends. I hope you're having a beautiful day, and I hope 2025 treats you all wonderfully. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye for now.
The other one you made for me as well, but there's no time. Here it comes. About 3 minutes. Enjoy. There's no video, it's just the song.
And nights across the endless seas, a journey through 1,000 dreams, where every sunset, every shore whispers stories of forevermore. The ocean's breeze, the sky so wide, with friends we met now side by side. From ports of gold to lands unknown, the ship became our second home. We ocean's breeze, the sky so wide, with friends we met now side by side. From ports of gold to lands unknown, the ship became our second home. We laughed, we cried, we lived it all, from midnight stars to morning calls, through waves of joy, through tides of tears. These memories will never disappear. Thank you, Royal, for the ride of a lifetime, for taking the risk, for crossing the line. We sailed with hearts so full of light. Together we reached the highest heights. In these 9 months we found our way, and in each other's hearts we'll stay. Crew and guests, we became one, underneath the same bright sun. From every laugh to every cheer, you made this world feel small but dear. The unknown paths we bravely walked, together we found where we belong. In every wave, in every song, our bond grew strong, it can't go wrong. Thank you, Royal, for the ride of a lifetime, for taking the risk, for crossing the line. We sailed with hearts so full of light. Together we reached the highest heights. In these 9 months we found our way, and in each other's hearts we'll stay. Cruel world is big, but love is grand. We touched it all with heart and hand. From crew to guest, from sea to sky, together we'll never say goodbye. So here's to memories we've made, to the family that won't fade. The ultimate cruise where hearts unite in Royal Caribbean.